Rounding the edges on your woodwork gives it a nice, clean, finished look, and it helps people from getting splinters. Now the edge is all going to be just bare wood, so I wanted to tape everything off before I sprayed. Especially with these cans and this heat, it can kind of get gummed up a little bit and throw just random spots of spray all over the place. So you want to make sure to mask off anything you don't want to get overspray on. Before you spray, make sure you brush out your sign to get any loose sawdust out of there. Now for the black spray, we're using our Rust-Oleum primer that we use on pretty much everything. You can use paint, but if you decide to use paint instead of primer, remember, it's got to be either flat or matte finish. You can't use gloss, semi-gloss, or satin, otherwise it's probably gonna bleed, especially if you're using pine. Redwood generally doesn't bleed too much, but pine definitely will. Now when I'm sanding this off with our disc sander, I'm using the 80 grit, and I'm also using mainly the edge. That way I make sure not to hit the inside of that black and mess up everything that I just sprayed. For the finish sand, I'm using a random orbital and a 120 grit disc. This takes a little bit of practice to sand something like this, but once you get it, you can sand pretty much anything. Now I'm using our Rust-Oleum clear, and I'm going to put the clear coat on it. This is my favorite step because now you get to really see the grain of that wood. Now, again, for the sake of time and the editing process, I'm showing one coat of clear on here, but we actually have 12. So the more you put on there, it'll build up and it'll give it a much glossier finish.